Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck, happening in the YouTube atheist community, and I did do a room, a Puro room. Yeah, for whatever, an hour in some such thing, but whatever, it's a waste of time, but, and it was just a strange circumstance, and so, just, I still don't quite understand the processing of events that led to it. Just because, I've made the point that, these rooms are just a waste of time. And, it's 6 hours and 44 minutes of the same arguments over and over and over again. And it's just no point. It's just no way to do philosophy or anything. It just isn't, in my opinion. Unless you're doing some kind of entertainment show. Let's tell stupid, loose jokes and jibber jabber. I don't know. I just don't see any point in it. It's just not productive. So anyway, it was just totally unproductive. A waste of time. I mean, it had me frustrated in 5 minutes because, you won't accept a single premise to an argument. There's just no, you just can't argue anything. So, I mean, he's still arguing this thing that rich people are making all their money on property. And if we tax property, somehow all the rich people will, somehow all the renters of the world will somehow be empowered and own the means of production and get paid real wages again. No, that'll happen. It's just, people just don't get it. The rich are obscenely wealthy for not producing anything, for merely acquiring ownership. That's it. That's it. And then they just loan their surplus, ownership of surplus. They loan their extra ownership to you suckers, and you pay them interest. They make money, you lose money, and that's how the world goes round. They get richer, you get less and less powerful. Period. I mean, less and less valuable, useful, meaningful. And the future is just going to get worse and worse. The value of a human life is nothing. We don't have any value intrinsically. You have to actually have some sort of skills, and nobody has any skills. Everybody's skill is being a little bit. I'm very talented at being neurotic. Other people are talented at being fat or diseased or disabled or in some other way dysfunctional. That's just of no value. You're not going to get paid to do that. Well, you are, but you're going to get paid in the mortgage that the future has to pay. The debt. So, it's just, anyway, there's no point. I want to go back to the island argument and just go back and say, well, look, if you're going to start a civilization, what are the mechanisms? Because people just don't get what's being traded here. And what happens inevitably is this kind of monopoly thing. That's how the kings got invented. That's how the first nations were formed. They were formed based on the monarch. And, this is what it turns into. And the only way you can stop it from being that is you have to have a deliberate policy that stops it from being that. It's not going to happen by accident. It's not going to happen by indirect, silly notions that you can, we'll tax their business, and somehow they won't pass all those taxes right on to the consumer. Of course they will. We'll tax their property. Somehow those expenses won't get passed on to the renters. Of course they will. It's just stupid. Anyway, you can't have the conversation. You won't concede a single point, so there's no point. You'll say things like, well, that's a good argument, and that's a blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean anything. Useless. So anyway, so there I just described a waste of time. So there are some other things I wanted to deal with, maybe, possibly. I got a couple of messages from people, they're semi-interesting subjects. one of them transhumanism, which is just more about what it is, the nature of the human. What is it that it needs? And I would argue that a synthetic environment is just as good as a real environment. So if you can create the synthetic perception of victory and success and all that kind of stuff for 48 cents worth of batteries, do it. Plug them in. But this idea of transhumanism in the sense of we're all going to be gigantor and live in the real world and have real gold and that's just silly. Superpowers or something. It's just silly shit. So transhuman is just going to mean that you're less physical and more conceptual. You will conceive in a rich environment. You will have conscious experience in a rich environment. It just won't be this environment. Physical environment. Anyway, and that relates to some other guy who said, would you consider making a video on why a mechanical machine view of reality, nature, and the universe must be assumed? It doesn't have to be assumed. What it is demonstrated by the evidence. You're not assuming it. You're saying, what is the evidence for any other fact? And there is none, except for the silly speculations of, frankly, what I'm getting to believe more and more are just assholes with their stupid wave theories and their, magical thingies and whatever, bent space bullshit. There's no evidence for any of that shit, no real evidence. It's just all inferred, based on tiny relationships, I don't know, black jelly beans should live in the slums because they're black, or it's just silly associations. Not, just so tangential they can't possibly have meaning. Alright, I know you say life serves no rational function. Life can't serve a function because it makes problems. It doesn't solve problems. It makes problems that need to be solved. And that's why intelligence doesn't serve any function but to clean up the mess our mess maker makes. And without the mess maker, there's no mess and no need to be intelligent. Therefore, it can't be justified to exist. No, it can't be justified to exist because it costs so fucking much. It's really, really expensive. The suffering and the torment and the torture is expensive. But isn't it first necessary to concede that function only applies if the machine view is correct? And no, I just, if your phantasmagorical, silly, well, the universe is based on a bunch of gods who came from nowhere and have silly desires to make things that they end up destroying, and that you're still stuck with, well, what's the purpose in that? How fucking retarded are your gods then? So that doesn't, this presumption of there's something intelligent that creates sentient beings and then subjects them to torture based on completely stupid reasons, like, well, they're not smart enough to invent penicillin yet. They haven't figured out what morphine is yet, so they should suffer. Oh, sorry, that doesn't sound too smart. Sorry if you already covered this in a specific video. Well, I've technically covered it in a ton of videos, but I'm just saying there's no evidence of any non-mechanical machine element to existence. All the little bits are clearly confined by rules, and there's just no room for anything that's something from nothing. And clearly the rules, as you go deeper into the universe, get simpler and simpler, cruder and cruder. The mechanics are crude. The basic function is dead, just brutally simple. And clearly by my theory, all you really have are these little quantons moving the speed of light in one direction, and that's it. And they have a polarization, and that gets filtered out of the chaos. The ones that are of a similar kind end up sticking in a way to each other a little bit. They get caught in spirals. And that's it. That's the nature of the universe. Those simple rules. That's it. It's a mechanical process. Anyway, yeah, so I ended up doing the video. Sorry, the whole thing is just such a downer. This whole communication with people thing and whatever. Like I said, most people are just such assholes. Some asshole, this old fanny cam thing is kind of, I'm finding it interesting. Nobody else seems to like this camera stuff, but I like it. So I'm going to incorporate the two of them together, probably with another website where both of them will be running or whatever. But whatever. But yes, even on this, Mandy can't program websites for shit. This is worse than 1991. And you're just like, it's such a vacuous complaint. What's your problem? You click on an image, the image shows. Is that complicated? You click on this thing, it shows the images from the last half hour. Is that complicated? A problem there? And then you can want to post a comment, you can post a comment. And then it does this other stuff where you can do this black and white thing, and you can do an alarm clock, and you can do some other stuff if you're interested. And you can play some games and do some other stuff. But the basic functions, asshole. Again, why don't you link me? I wish you people who complain, why don't you link me to what you think the internet should be? To your Facebook page or your Twitter page or whatever the fuck it is that you think works good. You fucker. You're just such obnoxious fucks. So anyway, I have had the new, it should turn audio notices off. It has audio notices when there's an update in the comment section. Obviously, if it was more active, if more people were involved, the audio notices could probably be pretty annoying. So that was sort of a feature for the future, hopefully. But we'll see. So anyway, but it's been interesting. Quite, yeah, quite interesting. Let's see. This is something else that was somebody said here. This is not important enough. Nope. Okay. So in other news, Dee and James, Mike, are doing the went to Florida thing. They were supposed to come visit me, but they left town before they did that. Left the region. So now they're not regional anymore, so I guess they're not going to be visiting. No fun for me. Anyway, so this is, so they did some kind of room, I guess, but the technology failed again, I guess. I suspect it's in some way or something, whatever, but it always, it's always not very efficient at getting that done. But anyway, it's nice to know they're still, and they're something. But yeah, it was all rather, it was just a video of, 5 minutes of a cat sleeping. It's not even the cat sleeping, it's just an image, I think. But anyway. So anyway, it'd be nice when they're back in the game again. What else? Anaconda, you can see he made a video. I'm sure it's just horrible. Does anyone buy The Great Illusion? So by Great Illusion he means the illusion of what? The Great Illusion in the context, I think it's because he left a comment on an Anti-Bullshit Man video, so it's back to that whole determinism, free will thing. And the illusion would be is that it's basically a lie to think you have any kind of conceiving will that doesn't conceive with an egg and a sperm. Idea 1 plus idea 2 equals idea 3. Cause, effect. It's always that way. It'll always be that way. There's no chicken without a fucking egg. That's the way the world works, fuckers. You don't make it up in any real sense. You just follow the direction of where the car's pointing is where it's going to drive. It's not going to go anywhere else but where the wheels are pointed. And if for the car to go somewhere else, the wheel has to turn. Shit for brains. So let's play a little of this for fun of it, right? Oh, 23 minutes.
A few days ago, Anti-Bullshit Man uploaded a really interesting video, and it's
it's just totally not interesting. It's just more of this gibberish that it somehow matters that people aren't to blame for being assholes. And in a sense, you can say, fine, they're not to blame that they're broken, but the fact is they're broken. I mean, if you're too stupid not to know, it's not right for you to hit somebody over the head with a brick and steal their lollipops. If you're too stupid to know that, how the fuck can we be wasting any energy worrying about, well, they couldn't help it? Who cares? They're broken fucks. And again, it all doesn't goddamn matter, because even if they were the most beautiful, kind, wonderful people, and it was just some sort of like epilepsy that made them do it, the fact is it's contagious epilepsy. The fact is it's preventable epilepsy. You can prevent future crimes by punishing past criminals. It's just a fucking fact. So it's a kind of epilepsy you prevent. You just say, hey, you want people doing that epileptic smash people over the head with brick thing? Well, cut their fucking nuts off when they smash somebody over the head with a brick, and guess what? The guy in the future won't do it. Because he doesn't want his nuts cut off. Shit.
Sort of fascination of mine. This idea of, do the people at the top of our society, however you might define the top, I guess, do they believe in this system that they've created, or that they run, or that they dominate, or that they excel in, or whatever?
Well, they don't care. They do what you do. They sit there and say, what's in it for me? And they see what's in it for them as well. Then the hookers are free. Almost. It's not complicated.
This comes up a lot in, say, things like the Catholic Church, where...
Oh, please. So the ex-Catholic who doesn't have anything to do with the nonsense of this biblical-style God is going to talk some more about religion. For no good reason.
Okay, you have a large body of people who presumably...
who factually are imbeciles.
Not necessarily swallow whole the idea.
They don't swallow any of it at all, okay? It's all a lie, all right? It's just pretending. They're spitting it out, whenever they can. They're just pretending to swallow. They don't swallow any of it, okay? If they believed there was a God up there that was going to torture them for fucking up, they would be really, really interested in what every word in that little stupid Bible, and they couldn't give a rat's ass to even read the fucking thing.
It's peddled by the Catholic Church, but they at least go along with it, and they defer to the people who tell them what reality.
I don't even know if they defer. They just sit there and say, well, I like playing bingo. I like having this moral, judgmentally thing about stuff that I don't need. Like, I don't need an abortion, so, because I don't get to have sex at all because my wife's a big fat Catholic. Her uterus is stretched all over the place from all the kids she's had. So, what do I care about abortions, memortions? Or something like that.
What is, or what right and wrong is, and this sort of thing. And, which of course begs the question, do the people at the top believe?
Well, whatever. Again, the people at the bottom don't believe. That's why they're sinning all over the place. And obviously the people at the top don't believe because they're sinning all over the place. And they'll lie about it. I mean, Donald Trump is so confident there's not a God He's lying in God's face and saying, the Bible's my favorite book. And he knows God's not going to kick him in the nuts for that. Because God knows that's a crock of shit. And he just lied about something godly, which is like really offensive to God, no doubt. I mean, if you start ragging on God or saying shit about it and it's not true, it's going to piss him the fuck off.
Do the people at the top of the heap actually consciously create an illusion for their...
Oh, I didn't know this was about some conspiracy theory that the rich are controlling everything. They don't have to control everything because the poor are so fucking stupid. And the people in the middle, you know, and again, it has nothing to do with smart or dumb. It just has to do with clever, scheming, conniving, unethical. All right, you can get ahead by being unethical. Crime does pay, because we don't punish it. You know, the substance of the crimes, the liars' crimes.
Their own selfish purposes, or, as we saw, say, in the old 1960s show, The Prisoner, do the people perhaps at the top honestly believe, or at least in some ways and at some times, honestly believe that what they're doing is for the best of society?
Well, that's just so silly. Of course they don't give a fuck about society. They got their full pockets. They got their, you know, brown sugar to put on their porridge. They don't give a goddamn fuck about any of this crap because they have security. Their boat is there's no holes in it. They don't gotta worry. They got a fiberglass boat and they're not gonna be afraid of termites. So they don't give a shit about any of this crap. They don't do philosophy, fuckhead.
Goes all the way back to Plato's cave versus Plato's republic. Plato said that we all live, or not all of us, but almost all of us live in something of a magic theater where we're watching things that are being consciously dangled before our eyes to get us to think a certain way or to believe certain things.
Oh, whatever. There's nobody dangling. Again, the whole thing is just dangling the evolutionary tendency. Your consciousness is a personal one. Therefore, you're self-interested because the dissatisfaction is real in your face, and you don't actually feel somebody else's pain. If you actually felt their pain, okay, if it wasn't just an idea that they have pain, then it'd be a different world, wouldn't it? You know, if the master in the slave-master relationship actually felt the sore back, if he actually felt the burn of the whip, if he felt all that shit when it happened, he wouldn't make it happen. Duh.
And he posits the view that, I guess in the Republic, that the best thing to do is to make sure that the people who are the puppet masters, I guess we'd call it, or at least the people operating the movie camera.
Well, whatever. I mean, all of this is, you know, can be changed tomorrow if people grow a little integrity. But both poor people and rich people are scum. They're just selfish, stupid cunts. The truth is not complicated. There's no fucking God. We're just creepy, cruddy fucking bugs, okay? We can think that, you know, animals have evolved into something sophisticated and wonderful. But no, you know, it's still just cat and mouse. It's still an ugly world out there, even for mammals. It's still cannibalism and carnage, and that's our nature. That's the world we came from, and the only thing that can give us any dignity or to make anything about this be at all rational is the fact that we use our intelligence to understand. Our psychology is sick and stupid. It's personal and bigoted. It's nepotistic. It's racist. It's a lot of shit, and all of that shit can't be allowed to form rules, law, policy. We can't let our personal interest define, you know, the social construct.
Behind our heads that are flashing the images on the screen. At least those people are properly trained and that they know what is good for everybody.
Yeah, who believes that? But whatever. Yeah, I don't want to really do this video now, so it's just another 20 minutes. Even 2 minutes of it's insufferable. 20 more minutes of this horse shit. I mean, really, it isn't that complicated. Again, if this was complicated, you could say, okay, I mean, but you could draw the dots on a piece of paper, the facts. You know what I'm saying? I've done it.